coronavirus?
Well, those of us in public health knew about the coronaviruses
Yeah.
because we know about SARS, we know about MERS. We've been concerned about them for a long time. We chose a coronavirus for this exercise because of the threat that coronaviruses pose. The point of the exercise, however, was not the number of deaths. It was to point out that there could be societal and economic consequences from a severe pandemic, not just health consequences.
You're not only a doctor, but you specialize in health security, Eric. I'm just curious what you make of the quarantine efforts that have been put in place by Chinese officials, and if those will be effective in containing this virus.
Well, this is the largest ever effort to quarantine a city. And I'm afraid I think it's unlikely to be effective. I think that people will have already escaped.
Today, January 30th, 2020, the deadly coronavirus outbreak has been declared a global emergency by the World Health Organization as virus spreads from one person to another for the first time in the U.S. The State Department urges Americans not to travel to China. Health officials also announced the 6th confirmed case in the United States. They report that the man-made flu-like virus has killed at least 213 people in China and more than 9,600 others have been infected. Whatever you do, don't believe any of the numbers the mainstream reports to us. The Chinese are not only controlling info that leaves China, they are also lying and trying to save face and act as if they have this thing under control, people. The population there is 1.46 billion. If you think that the numbers they're reporting are factual, you're insane. The Chinese government is keeping the coronavirus numbers artificially low by limiting supply of medical supply testing kits to their own people. Mainstream media is acting as if there's martial law there and they're going into every single home testing everyone, and they're not. They couldn't even if they wanted to. China is overpopulated. People are running around like chickens with no head, spreading the disease to one another. Everyone there is scared for their life and stressed out. What does fear and stress cause? Weakened immune systems, people, so that the virus can hit you and kill you even faster. Their government knows exactly what they're doing. They keep showing the Chinese wearing those masks as if they will stop them from catching it. Don't fall for it, guys. Those cheap masks stop nothing. The sides of the mask aren't even sealed. The only masks that stop germs from spreading are the top-of-the-line surgical masks the doctors wear. So don't be fooled and fear-mongered into buying those cheap masks off Amazon. They won't stop anything. If you're going to buy masks, you have to buy the top-of-the-line surgical masks the surgeons use. The Trump administration has expanded screening for the coronavirus to 20 U.S. airports, and that number will be doubled by next month, guys. We've done computer simulations on how this virus could spread. They know the numbers could be catastrophic. Bill Gates for years believed and talked about the significance of a new flu epidemic coming in the future against which our society will be unprepared for. He talked about what smaller viruses like swine flu and Ebola did, and they both killed lots of people. No one cared because it wasn't happening to us. As long as it's done in some third world country, Americans don't care. The government knows that. They release these viruses in other countries, all the meanwhile collecting data, doing studies on humans like we're some kind of lab rats, giving the American people bits and pieces of what's really going on. But we don't care anyway because we're programmed and conditioned to focus on our favorite sports teams, TV shows, TMZ drama, and this fake food that's filled with fillers, hormones, and GMOs. Wake up, people. Pay close attention to this. Don't get spoon-fed from this lying news until it's too late. Because when it hits America, we are so unhealthy and obese that this virus will beat us down in a rapid time. The food we consume daily is already weakening us for the virus. And I want to leave you guys with this.
Now, imagine that there's an entity that just gave $10 million to containing this outbreak. Sounds great, right? $5 million to China and $5 million to the continent of Africa. Sounds innocent enough. But imagine that the head of this organization has actually been warning that the next pandemic disease is coming and that it will be a global killer. And that this man, while he was the wealthiest man on Earth, issued a call for a global militarized authority capable of responding to an outbreak just like this one, and that it should work with NATO to do so. Imagine he said, quote, "The world needs to prepare for pandemics in the same serious way it prepares for war." Now imagine that in 2010, this same entity funded a trial of a malaria vaccine and administered the treatment to thousands of infants in Africa, and that the trial resulted in 151 deaths and caused serious adverse effects like paralysis and seizures in over 1,000 children. What if that entity funded a vaccine campaign in Chad as well, where unconfirmed reports allege that 50 children who were forcibly
vaccinated. She's talking about Bill Gates, guys. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. What they're going to try to do is create a vaccine. You're going to be fear-mongered. It's on the news every day. It's propaganda. We're so scared that people who don't even have this virus yet are going to be forced through fear to go get a vaccine, which is going to cause all kind of problems. Whatever we do as a people, do not get the vaccination when it comes into play. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share my video with your friends and family if you want to support my channel. My Cash App is in the description. And let's continue to be free thinkers, guys.